Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has slammed the Bharatiya Janata Party-led central government over the implementation of the Citizenship Act, calling it a dirty vote bank politics aimed at taking away jobs meant for India's youth. He also said riots, rapes and robberies will increase as this is implemented. Let's listen in.
वहाँ पे लगभग 2.5 से 3 करोड़ माइनॉरिटीज हैं, तीनों देशों के मिला के। अगर उनमें वो बहुत गरीब देश हैं, अगर ऐसे हमने अपने दरवाजे खोल दिए उनके लिए, देश के दरवाजे खोल दिए उनके लिए, अगर उन 2.5-3 करोड़ लोगों में 1-1.5 करोड़ लोग भी हमारे देश में आ गए, उनको कहाँ बसाएंगे? उनको कहाँ रहने की जगह देंगे? वहाँ उनको जॉब्स कहाँ से देंगे? नौकरियाँ कहाँ से देंगे? घर कहाँ से आएंगे? तो जाहिर तौर पे जो नौकरियां और जो रोजगार हमारे बच्चों को मिलने चाहिए, वो रोजगार तो वो ले जाएंगे। और जो इतने सारे, इतनी भारी हम तो दरवाजे खोल रहे हैं, इतने गरीब लोग वहां से उठ के आ जाएंगे बाकी पड़ोसी देशों से। पता नहीं वो कौन लोग हैं, क्या हैं। सारी कानून व्यवस्था चरमरा जाएगी, चोरियां, डकैतियां, बलात्कार बढ़ेंगे हमारे देश के अंदर। बीजेपी की केंद्र सरकार से हमारे बच्चों को रोजगार दिए नहीं जा रहे, पाकिस्तान से लोगों को लाके उनके बच्चों को रोजगार देना चाहते हैं। हमारे लोगों के पास तो घर नहीं है, भारत के तो ढेरों लोग बेघर हैं, लेकिन बीजेपी वाले पाकिस्तान से लोगों को लाके उन्हें भारत में बसाना चाहते हैं, उनको घर देना चाहते हैं। हमारे रोजगार उनके बच्चों को देना चाहते हैं, हमारे हक के घर उनमें पाकिस्तानियों को बसाना चाहते हैं। भारत सरकार का जो सरकारी पैसा हमारे परिवार और देश के विकास पे खर्च होना चाहिए, वो पैसा पाकिस्तानियों को भारत में बसाने पे खर्च किया जाएगा।
There have been massive protests as well in Kerala. These are the visuals of anti-CAA protests held in northern Kerala, held by a CPM candidate as well as former Kerala Minister K.K. Shailaja. She led these protests. There were also protests by the Congress led by candidates Shashi Tharoor as well as V.D. Satishan. Remember, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal have already said that they will not implement the CAA in their states. But how is this going to pan out on the ground? I'm being joined by Asif Bhamla, the spokesperson for BJP, Namit Saxena, the advocate for Supreme Court, Ravi Srivastava, the political analyst, as well as Syed Asad Abbas, political analyst. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining me. Well, let me just go across at this point to Ravi Srivastava. Mr. Ravi Srivastava, I would have liked to come to you first to get a counter on this huge jobs allegation that they will come and take away the jobs that are meant for you and me. But let me come instead to you with the first question on what does the Chief Minister of Delhi mean when he says rapes, riots and robberies will increase. Could you help me understand this?
Yeah, sure. Good evening. First of all, I think Arvind Kejriwal's apprehensions are valid. What he is saying is that 2.5 crore people, minorities are there in these three countries, out of which he expects at least 1.5 crore will definitely land in India if via CAA the India's doors are opened. How will they, settle here? Which houses they will go in? Who will give them houses? Who will give them jobs? Who will resettle them here? That's a mute question. And your opposite your house, you will find some another refugee camp or a jhuggi or something, some settlement is made. And those people who are coming to India, does the government of India know their background? What have they been doing in Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan? What kind of criminal activities have they been doing over there? What will they do here in India? So I think his apprehension is valid that the rapes, robberies and all those kind of criminal activities will be on rise because there is no background check on those people. They'll be applying and they'll be coming to this country. They're Pakistani, Afghani or Bangladeshi, whosoever he is. So that's a valid point. And what India should do is 11 lakh people in last 10 years who are the high net worth people, who are the big businessmen here, have left the country. Instead of that, the government of India should have done something to lure them back. They will come here and provide some more industries and give the jobs to people. So this is the question of our future, the future of India. So that's why he is opposing it. And CAA was vehemently opposed by this Shaheen Bagh protest. I hope you are aware that across the country there were a lot of protests over there. So people's apprehension is valid, because this kind of a thing saying that 31st December 2014 will be deadline, etc. All those deadlines will go
Mr. Ravi
into thin air.
Srivastava, Mr. Ravi Srivastava, since you asked me whether I hope that you wondered if I was aware of the Shaheen Bagh protest, definitely I'm aware. I am extremely aware of what happened there. But let me just make it very clear, they did not protest about the worry of robberies and rapes and riots increasing. I do not want to digress from the topic that we are on, and that is CAA, which unfortunately, the way Arvind Kejriwal spoke didn't really come across, though he did make the other points as well. Let me just go across at this point to Asif Bhamla. Asif Bhamla, two aspects to this. There are protests across the country, and to what Arvind Kejriwal has said, how do you respond?
You see, there's massive misinformation that is being unleashed by groups when it comes to the CAA, you know, with blatantly false narratives, you see. This in the suspicious month of Ramzan, this misinterpretation and misinterpretation is simply वो कहते हैं ना अक़लियत को मुसलमानों को वर्गलाने के लिए आज यही स्टेटमेंट जो ममता बनर्जी दे रही है या अरविंद केजरीवाल दे रही है या असदुद्दीन ओवैसी दे रही है, they are not polarizing people, they are not using those as vote bank politics. When it is the BJP who's showing a concern towards the minority in your neighboring states, be it Pakistan, be it Bangladesh, be it your neighboring countries, where the minorities there which are in a bad situation, I think it is the mandatory right of a powerful country like India to look at it. That doesn't mean कि हमने हमारे सारे coffers खोल दिए कि आप आइए लूट कर ले जाइए, नहीं. इस पर एक proper साजिक चर्चा होगी, एक संवैधानिक इस पर एक निर्णय लिया जाएगा. We are just on the verge of a discussion now. So why are they just jumping to conclusion?
What discussion?
And let me tell you, Muslims,
it's already implemented. What discussion are you talking about, Mr. Bhamla? I don't get this. Sorry. Can you explain this to me? What discussion?
What I'm trying to tell you, what narratives the Arvind Kejriwal or Mamta Banerjee is trying to pose in, or Asaduddin Owaisi for that matter is posing, is not the way it is going to happen. It is just that it is mandatory for
but
a
Mr.
country
Bhamla,
like
discussion
India,
ka to time chala gaya na. It's already been implemented, and the opposition is saying that it's been implemented in a rush before the dates for the elections are announced. But I'll get back to you. Let me just go across to Syed Asad Abbas.
It is implemented.
Syed Asad Abbas, you've heard, I mean, I have to ask you, allow me, Bhamla sir, I have given you time, I gave you enough time, allow me to go across to Syed Asad Abbas. Allow me to go across to Syed Asad Abbas. Two things. One, the protests that are happening, massive protests in some states. There are chief ministers who have said they will not implement it, including Kejriwal. But I also have to ask you this, because Aam Aadmi Party is also an ally of the Congress. You all are part of India Alliance. How do you look at this statement by the Delhi Chief Minister when he says rapes, riots and robberies will increase? I don't intend to digress, but unfortunately, while opposing it, the Delhi Chief Minister himself has said it across.
Sneha, there is a much larger point I'd like to make here, where the India Alliance partners are sacrosanct on one stand, which is the CAA has and always has been, which they enshrined in the constitution of our country, which speaks of secularism. You cannot make a religion-based act. The fact of the matter, why does religion become a participle or a test of citizenship? That has been a core point where Mamata Banerjee, Arvind Kejriwal, Rahul Gandhi, or other leaders alike of the India Alliance have come front. Now, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has certainly raised his missions, and he's rightly so. Why, you may ask? The fact of the matter largely in the 2014-19 elections, when Modi ji used to say 2 crore jobs, 15 lakh, and so on and so forth, when we aren't able to provide enough number of sufficient employment and jobs for the youth of this country, why have other citizens to come through? Not just that, he has certainly put out his concerns with respect to the best interest of the Bharatiyas and the citizens of this country. Also, as a matter of fact, where largely the bill is found to be violating the Article 14 of the Constitution. The Article 14 of the Constitution states about equality. How is it equality when you make a citizenship on the amounts of a religion and not on humanity? Very selectively, the Bharatiya Janata Party goes for 3 countries, which are Islamic countries, be it Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, but does nothing about Sri Lanka, Myanmar, or Nepal. Where you see Myanmar, there are many of our Hindu brothers being killed there, nothing being done. Sri Lankan Hindu Tamil brothers of ours being persecuted in Sri Lanka, nothing about that. Look at the divisive politics and look at the timing of this bill, Snehaji. Right before the election, the implementation comes in, whereas it was passed about 4 odd years back. So this is all turning out to be quite political here.
No, I've given you the full space to speak what you had to speak, and you have made the points. This is a political opposition that is being made to CAA, and every political party has their right to oppose it for whatever they are, because they are also elected by the people whenever they are for whichever election. My point to you, do you also want to respond to the other statement that I asked about? Is there a line that you would want to add about that as well, or it's the other things that are the only focus? And I will not question those points that you have raised. That's for the panel. But any statement on the other question that I asked?
Yes, please. Snehaji, could you please repeat the question that you asked? Please repeat.
Do you have anything to say when Arvind Kejriwal says that there will be rapes, robberies, and riots that will increase if this is implemented? Do you have anything to say about this?
Well, I'm not too sure of the dichotomy of the same as to how that will certainly lead to an increase of crimes or riots. I think Arvind Kejriwal ji will better hold the knowledge of the same. I'm limited to my capacity as a political analyst to make the comment that I can. But certainly, he's raised valid points with respect to the jobs.
I do hope the allies would talk about this. And I think our politicians must unite on one aspect, and that is we must not generalize heinous crimes for whatever political advantages or disadvantages it may be to them. That must not be happening, whereas opposition for any law whatsoever is democratic. Anyway, moving on, let me just get in Namit Saxena at this point. Mr. Namit Saxena, there are chief ministers who have said they will not allow the implementation of the CAA in their states. I just want to understand legally how much of this is a possibility, while definitely the statement is a political tool and validly in a democracy. Practically, how much of a leverage do states have to not implement CAA? How can they go about this? What are the procedures, measures that they can resort to?
See, first, I think I will respond to, Mr. Ravi Srivastava, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's statement of, these rapes, robberies and riots being increasing. There'll be no rise in it because the law very clearly says whosoever has migrated to India on or before 31st December 2014, from these 3 countries belonging to these set of religions, they will be entitled under the CAA 2019 to get citizenship of India. So there is no question of not keeping a track of their crimes which they may have committed prior to 2014 in their respective countries. So Mr. Ravi Srivastava's, argument and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's argument, they are completely flawed as one. Second, to responding to your question that how will it be legally, what is the legality of when the states are saying that we will not follow the arrangement? See, one, it hits the federal structure of the constitution and of the country. Second, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has to understand that Delhi is a hybrid state. Delhi particularly is a UT, is a union territory controlled by the central government. Delhi is not a state in the stricter sense where Arvind Kejriwal can use these political comments to come forward and say, no, we will not implement it. These are all just political tools, just for the masses and just to, misinform the public as such. CAA will be implemented and CAA rules have come. They have given a mobile application. They have given how this procedure is going to happen and those rules are now enforced. And the pending challenge, which Mr. Abbas also talked about, that pending challenge is for the amendment These rules are not yet challenged. These rules are enforced, and these rules will be implemented countrywide. What is there?
So, no, I'm also trying to understand the legality here beyond the politics. How can states go forward if they politically intend to not implement this as the states have claimed? Legally, what aspects can they resort to?
See, legally, they'll have to challenge it. The CAA rules are very clear. CAA rules 2024 are very clear on this. The mobile application is very clear on this. There is no requirement for a particular individual who has come before 31st December 2014 from these countries and belonging to these religions to actually apply to the state. The executive has to follow it. The concerned the official would be the district collector, or in the case maybe the subdivisional magistrate, etc. It is not for the state to actually do it. It is for the executive to do it. It's very clear in the rules. This is all rubbish. In fact, it is very discouraging to even respond to such foolishness, if I may call it so.
I don't think it could be foolishness. These are elected representatives of states that have been chosen as chief ministers.
So what?
They have the rights to speak whatever they want to. I do not think this can be called foolishness. But anyway, moving on, Mr. Ravi Srivastava, just one question. Mr. Ravi Srivastava, one question. How is the Delhi government looking at not implementing this? What measures can they resort to? I understand this is a political tool. It is positioning themselves as well before the electorate, fair enough. But practically, can this be worked on?
Straight answer to your question, Delhi government is an elected government. There is an elected chief minister there. And as far as my friend is saying, it's a union territory, etc. I think he is totally mistaken that Delhi has got powers within itself to control the law and order and the governance in the particular state. So my friend is totally mistaken, and all states.
All right, I have 30 seconds left, but I will give 30 seconds to Abbas as well as 30 seconds to Bhamla. Mr. Abbas, 30 seconds, please respond. 30 seconds, please respond.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely unfair to call an elected government or chief minister's leaders as foolish. You are entitled to your opinions and they are entitled to yours. Now, the judiciary will certainly come in. The constitution will be applied. Whether or not the ruling government or states or different political parties, will they have the power and autonomy to implement this or not? But let us understand that the Ahmadiyas and Shias and Hazras are not even considered as citizens.
Totally out of
CAA
time.
bill does not have any provision for the same. So that is also a question to come in.
Okay, Mr. Bhamla, I'm being told to wrap, but I'm coming to you for 30 seconds. Mr. Bhamla, your last comments.
Mahatma, you see, this was something which even Mahatma Gandhi had supported. And today the Congress is talking so much. Its own alliance partner, Uddhav Thackeray, is in total favor of the CAA. I mean, the Congress, when itself was in power,
right. I'm sorry, I have to wrap. I'm being told to wrap,
so
sir.
why is this done? Why are these different narratives
Thank you very much.
States?
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhamla. Thank you very much, Mr. Bhamla, for joining us. Namit Saxena, Ravi Srivastava, as well as Syed Asad Abbas. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure this is going to be back in discussion repeatedly ahead of the elections. Thank you very much.